Hi, seventh graders. It's Mrs. Mackenzie here. I hope you guys are doing okay and working a little bit on some of your schoolwork, but also taking care of each other. I'm going to post some videos with some worksheets to work on just to practice the next section of our unit. This is all enrichment, and it's something that will keep your skills going until we can all meet back at the classroom again. On Tuesdays from 10 to 11, I'm going to do an open session, almost like office hours. I will forward all of that information to you guys as I get it, which should be over the next couple of days. And we can sit and we can chat with each other. You can ask questions, you can ask for clarification, you can ask me to check your work, whatever you need me to do during that hour time. All right, so let's jump into solving one-step equations today. Solving one-step equations. What is an equation? An equation is a mathematical sentence that uses an equal sign and shows that the left side equals the right side. If you remembered back when we were talking about expressions, we said that expression does not have an equal sign. We evaluate an expression. Now we're going to learn how to solve an equation. An equation has an equal sign, and you must keep it balanced on both sides of that equal sign. So for example, if we said x plus 4 equals 5, then we know x has to equal 1 because 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. So both sides of that equal sign, it's going to equal 5. All right, there are steps to solve equations, and I'm going to write those steps like I normally do down the right side of your paper as we are solving them. Just remember what our inverse operations are. And I know if I was to call on one of you right now, you'd be able to tell me what is the inverse operation for addition. The inverse operation for addition is going to be subtraction. The inverse operation for multiplication is going to be division. Okay, so we need to keep that in mind as we start solving equations because each one of those is going to be using the inverse operation. Okay, let's jump right into example 1. I'm going to do 4 examples for you today, and then the worksheets that are attached represent subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division one-step equations. Okay, so the first one we're going to do, example 1, x plus 10 equals 57. All right, the first order of business, number 1, is we are always going to isolate the variable. We all know what the word isolate means, especially right now. Isolate the variable. Get it by itself. Okay, it needs to be by itself. So here is my variable x. So I need to move that 10. So step 2 is to move the value. And that value in this case is a positive 10. Here's where your inverse operation comes in. You need to do the opposite operation. So if this is a positive 10, then we are going to subtract 10 from both sides. Inverse operation. So if I subtract 10 from both sides, those are going to cancel each other out, and I'm going to have x is equal to 47. Okay, example 1. Now you want to check your answer. So if I have x plus 10 equals 57, 47 plus 10 equals 57. Therefore, 57 equals 57. Check. Okay. Example number 2. X minus 7 equals 15. Okay, again, step 3 is to check. Sorry about that. All right, step 1, isolate the variable. Step 2, now in this particular case, when we're subtracting, we should always keep in our heads, we have to do keep, change, change. So keep the variable, change subtraction to addition, change positive 7 to a negative 7. So now we are going to move the negative 7. And by doing that, we have to add its opposite. Those will cancel each other out. And we have x is equal to 22. Check. X plus negative 7 equals 15. 22 plus negative 7 equals 15. 15 equals 15. Check. Okay, those are the first two. Now you know the next two that are coming have to be multiplication and division. All right. We have example 3, 8y equals 72. Now this should look familiar to you because whenever we did our cross multiplying with our proportions, we always ended up with a variable on one side and a value on the other side. So what we had to do would be divide by whatever that number is in front of the variable. So step 1, isolate the variable. And we know that that variable is y. So in order to isolate the y, I have to divide both sides. Whenever we see anything together, a coefficient with a variable, we know that represents multiplication. So both sides, we're going to divide by 8. Y equals 9. So we're going to divide by the coefficient. There's our vocabulary word from last week. The coefficient 8. All right, check. 8y equals 72. 8 times 9 equals 72. 72 equals 72. Check. All right, the last one, I'm sure you can figure it out. The fourth example. Sorry about my tilted clipboard. You know how I am with being a lefty. All right, so it's going to be division. K over 4 is equal to 13. In order to eliminate that denominator, now remember here, there's our variable. So step 1 remains the same. Isolate the variable. All right, here's our variable. We know by drawing that line here that we're representing that by division. So by seeing a fraction like that, we know that's division. So what we have to do is we have to multiply to eliminate that denominator. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. They will cancel each other out. K is equal to 52. Check. K over 4 equals 13. 52 over 4 equals 13. 13 equals 13. Check. All right, what you must remember when you are solving equations is to keep balance. Think of it as a seesaw that you used to do on the playground when you had your siblings on that seesaw. One of you would want to jump up and let the other one fall to the ground. We don't want to have that happen. We need to keep balance. What does that mean when solving equations? Whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must also do on the other side. Of the equal sign. Keep balance. Keep balance. Okay, I'm going to attach a few sheets onto my website. You'll find the video obviously on the website. When you finish your work, go ahead and see if you can solve a few of the problems. Remember, this is enrichment. I really cannot grade it since we are not sitting in front of me, but I am going to do a check-in because once we get back to school, we're going to take off. We'll review this for a little bit, and then we're going to take off and keep moving so we don't lose any time or any material for the year. All right, everybody, keep safe, and I'll see you on Tuesday between 10 and 11 at our online classroom through Zoom. I'll send you all that information as we get a little closer. All right, guys, keep safe.